Hi, my name is Cynthia, and welcome to the Wedding Checklist. We are back, baby. And the Wedding Checklist is basically a series that is going to go through all the do's and the don'ts in your wedding journey. And today, I have the illustrious Cluxe in the building. Let me go ahead and introduce my guest today. I have the wonderful Erica and the wonderful Jonathan. Thank you guys so much for being here. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. I already told my guests we're talking plain today. That's what pastors say. So we're going to talk plain. So first question is, Erica, please tell us a little about what Cluxe is and what Cluxe does and how was it started?
All right. So, hey, everyone. I'm Erica Turner, the owner of Cluxe. Cluxe is a 4-divisional company for full-service event rentals, event florals, design, and our newly added print shop.
Okay, so how'd you get started? What's been your journey?
So my journey is that I designed as a little girl, leading up to me going through life, having clients, private clients, never venturing off into the whole commercial world. And as my children started to go to college, I decided to start Cluxe. So it started through a rental business, even though I had design clients. It went from rentals from a small building to a 10,000 square foot facility to now a 30,000 square foot facility here in Charlotte. And along the way, divisions were born. And so here we are today. So we do a lot with weddings, corporate, social, and lots of design work here lately. So that's basically Cluxe.
Okay, so Cluxe, so let me just say this. I've seen you since before you had a building, period.
That's correct.
I've known you for a good minute through my husband, right? So I was there. So I've seen your growth. I'm very proud of your growth. I remember going into homes and decorating and saying, dang, I want her to come do my house, but I didn't have a good house yet. So you couldn't come do my house. But I remember seeing that growth, and I remember seeing how much you grew. I remember when you got your first place in Huntersville.
I did.
You had your first place in Huntersville, which was a small location. And I remember you were only there for like 2 weeks, it felt like, right? How long were you there?
So it was funny because I actually was going through paperwork last night, and I was there from March 16th of 2015 to January of 2016. So I broke my lease, paid out my lease. We had grown from my garage to the small little showroom, probably about 800 square feet, had 3 storage units, went from there to a small warehouse in Charlotte. And as I said before, we moved to Charlotte into a 10,000 square foot facility. And as I said before, we reside now in a 30,000 square foot facility.
Yes. So I'm saying the growth has been real, but it's been over time. I hate when people think that something just happens overnight.
Nope.
Didn't happen overnight. You put in some work.
10-year anniversary in August. And so we will be 10 years old in August.
And here you are. And to this side of me, which is my left, to my left, I have Jonathan, someone who has worked with you for a long time. Jonathan, tell me how you met Erica.
Well, it was funny. We were actually at a bridal show. Her booth was across from mine. I was at another florist, and I was looking to make a move because in design, I tend to think in whole picture instead of just flowers. And so she had great rentals, and I remember walking over to her, and I said, if you ever need flowers for any of your events, you let me know. And then a couple weeks or so later, she called me, and it was a meeting of the minds. Like, she had a vision in mind that coincided with mine, and then we started to formulate a plan of how we would work together. And she said, give me a year, and I'll have everything ready for you. And so we had about a year, and then June 1st of 2016 is when I came over, and it has been one fun ride since then.
Ooh, and I know, because I've seen a lot of it. So let's just go into the next thing. So the big thing about the wedding checklist is that we want to try to help people along in their journey, right? So we know who you guys are. We know what you do. Wait, Jonathan, what do you do at CLux? What is your thing first before we go?
So I do production design. So mainly my main focal is on the floral portion and creating environments using florals. But the good thing about CLux is that I have more than just florals at my disposal. Because we have a full service fabrication shop, we have sew teams, we have the graphics department, like truly anything that comes on the table as far as design, we have the capability to sit down and do. So from changing the floors, changing the walls, lighting fixtures, everything that your guests will touch, we have in-house capabilities to really facilitate making a whole vision come to life.
Okay, so now that is important for everybody to know. So why we come to CLux, because I'll tell you right now that I push a lot of clients to CLux. I'm like, you know what? They're like, well, the next thing on my list is floral. The next thing on my list is rental. And I'm like, okay, call them because you guys encompass so much. And now you've got the print shop. You've got a lot of different things that people can do. So the biggest thing is that we want to let people know, like, what are the do's and don'ts? So I would ask you this. When you have a bride come in, this is for you, Erica, what is the biggest misconception brides have when they walk into your door or when they walk into CLux?
I think the biggest misconception, and let me clear that up. When I developed CLux and the showrooms that we have developed, I believe in teaching my team that we have the tools. If you need to work too hard to sell it, then something's not right on our side. So I designed our showroom and the tools that we use to pre-sale. If you are a person with personality and experience, it should be a win-win. But I think one of the biggest misconceptions is for a lot of people is what things cost. We have these Instagram posts, we have all these different posts and, people spotlighting their best work, taking small little sections and making it seem really blown up. And I think that they're thinking that these things happen every day. But being creative and us knowing how to showcase our work, showcase our product, you're only going to get the best. And so with delivering the best, a lot of people feel that these things don't cost. And so with that, they come in and they state their budgets and they want these full rooms and these full reveals, and budgets aren't matching their vision. And so what I have trained our staff to do is to help create that vision. And so when they come in, everyone should be getting a presentation for us to place you where you need to be, finding out your vision, and then instituting that or discovering what your budget look like against that whole vision, and trying to give you the highlights of what you want and not telling you a misperception of what you're going to get.
So the biggest thing is a lot of times people will shy away from coming to CLux because they either think that you cost too much or they'll come in there with a budget that doesn't match what they want. Is that what you're saying?
In our design process, we really do a good job of itemizing what those costs are. So we don't give you blanket numbers and say it's going to cost you this many thousands of dollars. We try to break down the different elements, letting you know what the costs are, because honestly, that's how we operate. We're very responsible with other people's money. We want you to know where your money's going. We have a whole design philosophy that we don't believe in hiding money. If you're paying it, we feel like you should see the value for your money. And so therefore, helping the client understand, okay, hey, this is your overall vision. These are different elements that make up your vision. Now, your budget may not incorporate all of those elements, but what are some of the key, what is important to you? And I think that's the thing that we try to do, is really get to know our clients and knowing oftentimes the most special details aren't necessarily the most expensive details. So taking the time to incorporate your own personality into a wedding, because I tell anybody, I can give you a beautiful wedding, but I want to give you your beautiful wedding.
Right.
So getting to know who the couple is, and as couples are planning their weddings themselves, hey, ask yourselves, if my friends had to describe me and as us as a couple, how would they describe us? I had one couple that was really great. They both worked for Duke Energy. And so the hashtag for them was the power couple. And so we incorporated Edison bulbs and things like that. That wasn't necessarily an expensive element, but it was a unique element that was memorable that worked for them.
Right. So let me say this. I myself was a CLux bride. So I came to CLux to have my special day. And I remember the breakdown on my bill. I remember the breakdown breakdown on my bill, and I'm sure my husband remembers it too, right? So, but I remember when we were going through our budget and I was saying, okay, what can we cut back on? Because you have the itemized budget, it does help us make decisions on saying,
But let me
maybe
jump in real quick.
Yeah.
But not only having an itemized budget, but having the itemized experience of design.
Yeah.
And so we knew what to cut.
There you go.
What to add in and to say what was an absolute not cut.
Right.
I think that's important. And I think to add on to Jonathan, I think what's also most important is that I have that connection with my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am back in the design room. I think a lot of people did not know that I designed because I ran the business since it was coming up.
We've been looking for you, Erica.
Yes. And so coming out to be back in the design room, I kicked that off. A lot of people don't know it in January. I will say for the people who do know who I am and that I do design, I would say that my year is almost filled. And so I'm grateful for that. And I'm that detail girl. I want everything detailed. So if you know me, everything about me is going to be detailed. And so I carry on how I live my life into my work. And that's huge for me. And so all clients, I don't take. And I pick and choose because I feel like the chemistry has to be there,
Right.
the understanding of the elements, and you must trust me.
Right.
I need to be able to make an educated and professional decision, even if you're not there, and you know that you can trust me to do that. If you're out there and you don't have that chemistry, you're probably with the wrong person.
Right.
I'm not going to get everyone. Jonathan's not going to get everyone. And it's okay. We're okay with that
Right.
because we know what our ideal clients look like. We know what we can provide. And I'm a big person. I don't waver off that
Right.
at all.
But the good thing is you have a big company, so it's not just you. Like you said, if they don't fit well with you, they could fit well with Jonathan or whoever is in the office. So Jonathan, let me ask you, what does an ideal client look like for you?
I think the ideal client for me is someone who understands and appreciates creativity and understands and and appreciates detail and is willing to make the investment to see those details come to fruition. Like it's great for someone. Sometimes people have no idea about planning a wedding. Usually this is the biggest party a couple has ever thrown.
Right.
And so it throws them for a loop. But if you break it down into the individual guest experiences, then it makes it easier. And so for me, those are the clients that I appreciate are those who are interested in their guests, making sure the guests have a great time. And they want the aesthetics and all five senses to be engaged. Like for me, that is the ideal client. It has nothing to do with budget, but more so about the commitment to a good guest experience.
Right. And so okay, we talk about the guest experience. So let me tell you, for me, I feel like most people's mistake, the biggest mistake most people make in this whole journey is one, they go straight for getting a venue first. They don't even look for the planner first. They don't look for how much the decor is going to cost. They just say, let me go get a venue, right? And a lot of times they'll go ahead and book a venue without knowing nothing else, which is insane. But again, if you've never planned a wedding before, you don't realize that the venue choosing first is not the way to go, right? So for me, I would say that's my thing, right? What is the thing that you want to tell brides? What is the biggest thing that you feel like they do wrong first when it comes to your business?
So one of the number one things that they do wrong, and let me speak on experience. I can design, I can plan anything. I can go on both sides. I know my place. I don't want to be a planner. I don't want the logistics. I don't want to deal with the people on the outside of that. I am a true designer. And so I fall in that space. The number one thing that they do wrong is not having a planner. And having I learned, and I know the business, and I can literally plan out anything I'm having.
Right.
But anything that I'm having, I'm hiring a planner. Personal, business, because it's those small things. When it's showtime, you need that planner. You need for that planner to take those things and make sure that they line up. So for all these wonderful planners, and yes, there's a lot out there, really good planners, making sure that you line up with them is key. But you need that planner.
Right.
You absolutely need that planner. After you have that planner, if you may be a design person yourself, or if you need design, that's where we come in at. And so we have a great partnership with planners. And I think one of the largest things now is even for planners to know, and most of them do, like, we're not taking your business. We don't want it. If anything, we want to marry with you to come up with these great, luscious, fabulous events. And so I on that whole place in my business, that for all the events that have come on to me and that I have, you can't have me as a designer if you don't have a planner.
And a lot of people are going into that. Like, if you don't have a planner, then I can't work with you. That's one of my questions on my questionnaire when people contact me about photography. I need to know if you have a planner, because I already know if you don't have a planner, I already know what we're about to go through. Because so I constantly tell this story.
Let me jump in there. But be careful with that, because so many couples are not educated to the resources to know that they need a plan.
This is true.
So I think this is a good segue to help everyone out there understand you need a planner. Before you touch that, you need a planner.
Right.
And you're going to say, oh, well, I can spend that money on X, Y, and Z. I guarantee you the money that you spend will be saved if you have a planner at the end of the day. You may not see it for the upfront, but you will see it at the end result about, everyone say, oh, well, my family can do the breakdown or they can do the decor. Well, guess what? They're going to beat you and your new husband out the door, and all that crap is going to be there. And you guys are going to be sitting behind, breaking those things down. That's not what you want. You need a planner. So for all my planners out there, shout out to all of you.
Shout out to the planner.
To make sure that we are making sure that we have those connections and we are together.
Right.
Because that's key.
I think the planner starts everything. I think the planner gets you the best deals. I think the planner knows what you need. The planner,
know how to negotiate.
They know your personalities. I mean, that's their job, is to really figure out how to get everything together for you and not let you walk into the place with the crazy budget. So for you, Jonathan, what do you think is the biggest thing that brides do wrong when they come into work with you?
Well, I have
on the flower side. Let's talk about.
I have a love-hate relationship with Pinterest, and I say that Pinterest and Instagram. And it's not even the fact of being able to expose yourself to new ideas. I think the hard part is, especially with Instagram in particular, everybody's seeing the same things over and over again,
and false perceptions.
So it's taken the originality out of it somewhat. Like, it's like, oh, I want this, this, and this. They give you a string of Instagram posts, and it's like, but is that true to you?
Right.
Is that true to your vision? Is it true to your budget? There has to be a level of authenticity that comes along with that. So sometimes you see a pretty picture, and it's like, that worked great for them.
Right.
And so I would say encouraging brides to step away from, brides and grooms, step away from your traditional wedding magazines or media. Go look at a painting, look at a book. Like, for me, that give yourself, like, think about how you decorate your house and how you organize your life, and like what things are constantly coming up as a reoccurring theme in your life. If you enjoy being outdoors, then even if your wedding is inside, let's make the wedding feel like it's outdoors. If you are a fashionista and fashion is your thing, okay, let's rearrange how we do the ceremony seating and how we do things to really give some perspective so that it feels authentic to you, as opposed to just another pretty Instagram post.
Right.
Let me jump in real quick. So Jonathan basically has laid out the CLuxe experience when you come in. That was developed based off of me watching, listening. When you come in for that appointment, we're gonna figure out who you are, even if you don't tell us, because I'm gonna do a series of questions to really, really identify who you are. I'm gonna paint a portrait of you based off of me doing a series of questions and listening. I think far too much we're giving what we want for these brides to have and not what they're truly looking for. I know that my job is well done when I've given you what you didn't even know that you were looking for.
Right.
And at the end you say, you gave me everything that I wanted.
Right. So let me say this. I'm going to go and be the client real quick because I want to talk about my experience. So now, again, I've known you for forever.
Cynthia, you can't talk about your experience. You cannot talk about your experience on this podcast.
I have to because I'm going to tell you, I felt like, so here's the thing about C-Lux, right? And I don't know about any other place because I haven't walked in there, right? When you walk into C-Lux, you feel like a bride. I was able to separate myself, Erica, from the friend, from the person who comes in there and gets everything that she needs to get from this company and all this other stuff. No, I was able to separate myself because, I had Shawan on my right side, who was my planner, who took me. I let myself be the bride. Okay. So let me just say this. I feel like I let myself be the bride and I let some control go, Erica. I did. I did.
Cynthia really didn't have control with that.
I did.
Because I know Cynthia, so I was like, Cynthia, this is what you're going to do. It was only because I knew your personality.
Right. So what I'm saying.
I knew you.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is that the good thing about being at C-Lux is that when you walk into the building, and this is what I share with people who call me or who are saying, like, where do I go for this, right? I think the amazing thing that you guys do there is that even if a bride's not going to go with you, I feel like there's certain things that brides are supposed to do. Like you're supposed to go try on your dress with your girls and have the little champagne. That's just like a part of it, right? But I also feel like one of the new things is walking into C-Lux because the way you have your showroom set up, it immediately makes you feel like, oh my God, this is happening.
And that's intentional.
It's happening. Right. It's like the way those different tables are set up in there, it literally starts to feel like I am at my reception. I am seeing colors. I'm seeing palettes. I'm seeing chargers. You are starting to feel things. And it is something that happens to you. And again, like I said, I've been in your place a lot of times, but when I walked in as a bride, it was totally different, right? I literally felt like, wow, this is happening for me now. And I think every bride should experience that because it's very important. That's a part of starting to say, oh God, this is me. So the good thing, again, let's talk about it. When you go to C-Lux, you don't just get to talk about what it's going to look like. You can set the table up for them.
Correct.
They can literally say, I like that charger, I like this charger, and you can set the table up at that moment, right? So this is what I'm saying. Even if a bride is not going to go, because we can't get everybody, right? Everybody don't get everybody. But that experience of walking into C-Lux, sitting down, feeling like, okay, I get to see what this is about to look like. I get to see my napkins there. I get to see the type of silverware I'm going to get. All that. And I can go get a chair from the back. You can go get chairs from the back, set the table up. Everything is done there. So what I'm saying is I want to say shout out to y'all for being able to give that to a bride. But brides need to know that they need to come to C-Lux to see that, to feel that, and come with your planner, But again, like you said, this starts to...
Or even if you just want to come in, you can come in. We have 15-minute showroom visits that you can book online to come in.
And this is what people need to know. I don't want them to be afraid of saying, because it says C-Lux, and people think, oh my God, that just sounds expensive, right? That's what it sounds. That's what people think. Sometimes they do. They do think it.
But at the same time, don't people want their experience and their events to look like that? So if you want that, you know what? We cater to everyone.
There you go. And that's what I want people to know.
Clear with that. We can cater to anyone.
Right.
And even with you coming in, shying back from your budget or what you're spending, be upfront.
Be upfront. Tell me what it is.
We have is itemized. It's not a package that we just lump things in and say what you're going to have. And C-Lux has been designed intentionally. C-Lux is really my life. I buy on emotions, and so do brides. But I also feel that I need the customer service. I need the attention. I need the product. I need quality. And I'll tell anyone, and every experience that I have, I always bring back to my employees to say I had a good experience or I had a bad experience when I'm buying. And I think what people are doing is the same thing that's done to me. I like nice things. And so I go to nice places. And I think in some instances, they perceive me as if I can't afford it. And so I realize that up front. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get the deal. And I will go to the next place that's going to give me what I expect C-Lux to give to others.
Right. So basically you're treating every client like like, this is for you. This can be for you. Not letting anybody not feeling like anybody can't afford.
Let me tell you something.
Or anything like that.
So you told me to talk plain, right?
Talk plain. Talk plain. Pastor says it.
I'm gonna tell you the difference. I've had clients come in with raggedy jeans, baseball cap, work boots, truck full of dirt. And I tell my employees, don't you ever judge the book by the cover.
Right.
I can have another client that shows up, Range Rover, every designer thing.
Red bottoms. Red bottoms.
Bags, $1,000 hairdos. And you know what? They can't pay the bill.
Can't pay the bill.
But the person who you thought did not have it
On time.
will go over and beyond. I've had some of the largest spenders through the people who do not show it. And so what I say to that is that it doesn't matter who comes through the door. Your service is going to be the same. Even if your budget is a little bit lower than the other person's, we can still service you. And if you're receiving anything different, then I definitely need to know about it. For the simple reason that's not what we're built on. But at the same time, I think that in some cases we don't get the fair share of what it looks like to get some clients because they prejudge us.
There you go.
And so, and that's fine because we get our fair share.
Right.
And I feel that the business was truly built based off of what we can do and not because of what you see.
There you go.
I think that's where creativity comes in place. Like, I think the thing that I respect the most is when a client comes to me and is very honest about their budget.
Gotta be.
But also very honest about their expectations. Because if you tell me, hey, I have this number and I trust you with this vision, then I'm going
And not trying to come shop me to go somewhere else.
Right. I'm going to give you the best possible vision I can give you for your budget. Now, I may outline a couple things that are outside of your budget, but I'm just giving you options of what else you can add. Because who knows, you might get a bonus at work.
You never know.
Great aunt may say, you know what, I want to gift something to the wedding. Like, that's fine. But I just want to let you know that I thought of it.
Right.
And it wasn't due to lack of creativity that you don't have this. It's just like, I'm just trying to be respectful of your budget.
Right.
And the one thing is, I've worked on weddings that were over $1 million, and I've worked on weddings that were not just a fraction of that.
What's the fraction, Jonathan? Come on.
Go ahead, give numbers.
$20,000. But the thing is,
But you gotta
the one thing I've learned is that you just have to be respectful of anybody's money.
Right.
Especially the more money they spend, they may not care how much the individual element costs, but they want to know you respect their money. And they want to know that you respect their time. And I mean, like, rich people didn't get rich from not working hard for it.
Right.
And so therefore, by giving them the respect of saying, hey, I realize your budget. I mean, weddings are investment. When you think about it, the amount of time you actually spend at a reception versus how much it actually costs broken down by minute is an astronomical price.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you're creating memories for people.
There you go.
And so we don't get dress rehearsals for weddings. I think that's the important part about our company that I love is because she and Erica preaches about this all the time. If I fell and hit my head and had a concussion, my weddings would still go off without a hitch because everything on the back end of our systems, we have a whole entire support network that's supporting us. Like, there are some great individual designers out there, but they don't have the benefit of having an in-house support network. And so for us, at any given point in time, if any of us, because it has happened before, if any of us has to be out for a family emergency or anything, the show will still go on.
Can I drive the truck?
Yeah, yes.
Can I run a dishwasher?
Sure can.
There you
Can I
go.
run the washer and dryer?
Yeah. So we've all, there have been times we've had to step in, but the thing is we're a large enough company that we can compensate for that. But that goes back into our pricing as well. Some people say, well, there's somebody else that's cheaper. If somebody else is working out of their house and it's a team of 2 people, that's different than
totally different.
the overhead that we have, the insurances that we have, but also there's a certain peace of mind that comes because we have all those things built in to facilitate
Right.
the events that we do.
So, okay, so all this is great. I want to move somewhere else really quick. I need to move somewhere else really quick about flowers.
Okay.
Because I want to touch on this real quick about flowers. what is the biggest misconception? Or not misconception, but what is the biggest problem with people with flowers? Because I've heard that, people will be like, I want certain type of flowers, but it's not the season.
Well,
so then it becomes more money and then, all that kind of stuff. And so is that a hard thing to deal with? Or
I think it has to do with trust of your floral designer, because you can tell me, hey, I like this flower. Like I can tell you for sure, because I have a client that loved peonies, and her children always got married the first week of October, and they were never available. But she trusted me enough to give her some other options that would work. Like I've been doing this for 20 years now, and so there are always a backup option for something else. I will tell you this much: if your florist tells you something is not in season, believe them. And it's not that they can't get it. It's just that the quality of what you're used to getting, like tulips in the spring and tulips in September, are two very different things. And you don't want it. You're going to pay a lot more money for an inferior product. So trust your floral designer, let them use their expertise. And a good floral designer will be able to show you what your options are.
Right.
Like you don't have to go into it blind and say, okay, well, I'm just going, whatever I get is what I get. Right. A good floral designer will be able to explain to you and show you comparables of like what you're getting. Hey, and even with budgeting, like you can say, hey, I really love peonies. Well, let me tell you that a garden rose is a fraction of the cost of peonies right now. Right. So let's use more of these that give you that high petal count, that lush kind of feeling, but you have a different price tag. And I think that's the part that comes back on me as a professional, is really educating the client. It's all about education. Right. And once you're educating yourself, and I think if the couples just take the time to just listen to their professionals, that's why you hire professionals.
Well, here's the other thing. Let me jump in there. So in the design world, and when planners come to me for design or the clients come to me for design, I have my initial meeting to vet out. They know who we are. I know who they are. That we know budgets. We know basically what the investment is for that design process. Once they sign that contract to say, I'm booking you for that date, the next step is that I'm pulling experts from other departments out of my team to bring in their expertise. For instance, I'm not a floral designer. Can I do flowers? Yes. Am I going to do them? Not unless I'm in the crunch. But I know what things look like, and I know what things are in season. How many calls, Jonathan, do I call you and say, give me a substitute for this flower. I need to bring this budget down, but I can't compromise my look. And so he'll say, this or the other. I say, give me a range on what this arrangement is going to cost when I'm building my boards and all those different things. And so I rely on even me being in the business, I rely on the expertise. So if it's fabrication, if it's certain elements of design, if it's florals, I am going to involve the experts. So even with you coming to CLux, you're going to have a level of experts to come to the table because, yes, I can design. I can absolutely design. But there's different factors that play into that for me to deliver the best price, the best deliverance, and the quality that you're looking for. I feel like anyone who's putting an investment into these type of events, you need to be well-versed enough to know that you have the best people on your team and that they have the expertise behind delivering those events. I've seen so many people who walk away from us and go have these events, and we have planners calling us, we have parents calling us and say, we made the biggest mistake by not doing it, because you only got one shot.
Only one shot. So with that being said, there's only one shot. Again, we can't take every client, right? We don't get every client, which is fine. We understand that. But the thing is that when people are making a choice, let's just say when people are making the choice, just be very mindful of the key things that you guys have said here today, that you guys have a network that backs you up. It's not just a two-person team. So yeah, you want to save money, but then do you want to go into the whole things might not happen, right?
Are you really saving money?
Right. Are you really saving money? That's the other thing. Sometimes you think you're saving money, but you're not saving money, right? So then the other thing is too, it's the quality of everything, right? Sure. CLux has so much stuff in-house. So that's the thing to know. So like if something was left behind or whatever the case is, you got one company to deal with and not a whole bunch of different places because you're a one-stop shop for floral design, rentals, all that good stuff, right? So these are the things to think about when they're making a decision on whether or not to go with CLux. Okay. So with that being said, I know we got to wrap up. But is there one last thing you want to tell clients to think about when they're making the choices?
I would say don't be afraid. I think the thing that a lot of couples, especially in the beginning process, they get nervous, they get scared. When numbers start coming back, they get scared. I think communication is key, and just communicating, one, with your planner, because your planner is going to steer you in the right direction of where you need to go. They're going to be realistic. They're going to have a more realistic idea of what your budget is and what you can expect to get out of that budget than you would have. But also being honest, and don't be afraid to talk to your individual vendors, making sure you communicate not only your vision, but your expectations. And then we'll coach you through the process. And if it needs to be some budget negotiations to get around that, to make that, to help you have a more realistic idea of what's possible, but don't be afraid to have those tough conversations.
So Jonathan basically says they'll come in with a $100,000 idea and only have $20,000 to spend on it.
Yes.
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. But no, realistically, let's be for real about it, because you don't want to feel like he hurt your feelings. Let's just be honest. But again, if you got a planner, your planner might be able to tell you that before you go over there and
For sure.
and act like whatever. Okay, Erica, what would you like to tell people before when they're making a decision? What's the biggest thing that they need to know, think about to make that decision on going with whoever?
Honesty.
Just be honest.
Just be honest up front. Think about what you're looking for.
Put it all on the table.
Another thing is making sure it is a relationship that it matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to be in my company if we don't have the chemistry. And you want this to be a seamless process. I should be able to take all the stress off your plate and dump it on the planner and myself or the other designers to be able to come up with that full vision.
So I want to go ahead and say shout out to CLux. Thank you so much for coming today. Like, listen, listen. So we talked plain today. So Erica didn't give me the whole, oh my God, talk. And Jonathan didn't give me the whole, oh my gosh, okay? So I got them to talk to us for real today. Like I said, Pastor said we're going to talk plain today. We talked plain. We did.
The clean behind the scenes is a little bit different.
It's a little bit different. I was trying to get you there, but I think we did good. I think we did good. Because the biggest thing is, guys, I want you guys to be informed. I want us to stop making these crazy decisions. I want to stop looking at people and saying, well, we told you, or I could have told you that. So that's what this whole thing is all about. And I thank you for giving us all of your thoughts. Thank you for giving us all of your thoughts. And let's toast it up, guys.
All right.
So I want to say toast to the wedding checklist. We're gonna get everybody informed. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get everybody informed.
Welcome back.
Erica's taking clink her glass. Okay, Jonathan. She's
just gonna read off
the trying to play you. Right. Oh, so now you want to act? Now that we're closing the show out, now y'all want to act like that, guys. Okay, y'all check us out. The wedding checklist.
Cheers.
We'll see you soon.